The plot of Pardes centers around Arjun, Shah Rukh Khan, and Ganga, Mahima Chaudhary. The beauty and merit of Indian culture and values, which are frequently overshadowed by the perceived attractiveness of Western culture and values, is also a constant topic throughout the film. Kishorilal, Amrish Puri, a wealthy Indian businessman living in America, returns to India to see his old friend Suraj Dev, Alok Nath. During his stay at Suraj's conservative, traditional Indian home, he meets Ganga, Suraj's eldest daughter, who shares his passion for India and Indian culture. Ganga's younger siblings are charmed by their American uncle, and because they think Western culture and ideals are so appealing, they devise a scheme to impress him with a westernized song. Unimpressed, he responds with a hymn-like song written in a more traditional Indian style, "I Love My India." Ganga joins in on this song, showing her love for India as well. In important times, the song emphasizes the film's message. Kishorilal requests that Suraj pledge Ganga to his westernized son, Rajiv, Apurva Agnihotri. He is persuaded that Ganga will not only be the perfect wife, but also the means by which his Americanized family and broad circle of Indian friends and business contacts can revitalize and carry on treasured Indian values. The proposal is accepted by Suraj's family. Kishorilal is well aware that convincing his son to marry or even meet Ganga will be difficult. Back in America, he invites his foster son, Arjun, Shah Rukh Khan, to assist him with his plan. Arjun is being interviewed as the composer of the new musical hit, "I Love My India," which he has been working on in Kishorilal's personal garage and composing music with his band. When Kishorilal calls to seek for his assistance, his devotion to his uncle is so deep that he cuts the interview short. Arjun travels to India ahead of Rajiv to prepare for their meeting, unwittingly hurting Ganga's family with a slew of directives that include removing farm animals from sight and shifting their servant. When Ganga first appears, she is horribly made up, with horn-rimmed glasses and buck teeth, which causes Arjun to worry about the effectiveness of Kishorilal's preparations. Later, when he meets the real Ganga, he is enchanted and swears to be a trustworthy friend to make one for his disrespectful behavior. Ganga immediately returns the farm animals and the servant to the enclosed yard after shaking hands. She explains to Arjun that her family loves everyone who is a part of it, even the animals and servants, in contrast to Arjun's obvious and somewhat Western opinion that they are unimportant. When Rajiv arrives, he also acts rudely, sometimes on purpose, sometimes because he has no concept what Indians deem unpleasant or inappropriate. Despite his desire to Ganga, Arjun eases his way out of loyalty to Rajiv and Kishorilal. In order to facilitate the marriage, Arjun deceives Ganga about Rajiv's character and habits. He promises her that Rajiv is a nice guy, and he covers up for Rajiv, informing Ganga that the smokes she discovered in Rajiv's room are his own. Rajiv and Ganga have agreed to marry. The wedding is scheduled for India, but the families agree that Ganga should visit America before the wedding. Ganga arrives in America and is hurt to hear Rajiv's snooty mother disparage her traditional dress and foreign mannerisms during a party in her new home. She is, nevertheless, invited to sing at a large and influential event organized by Kishorilal. She sings, "I Love My India," and is greeted with enthusiastic, heartfelt applause. Arjun, her lone companion and confidant in her new surroundings, begins to build a special bond with her. Ganga gradually realizes that Rajiv is not the person Arjun portrays him to be. Rajiv not only appears to prefer leaving her at home whenever possible, with little explanation or apology, when he does bring her out with his buddies, he smokes, gets drunk, and acts like a bully. At one party, he's drinking and flirting with other women when a Western man starts dancing too near to Ganga. While Rajiv ignores the situation, Arjun loses his cool and punches the man to the ground. Later, Ganga is astounded to see photographs of Rajiv with his girlfriend, which clearly demonstrate he had a sexual relationship with her. She is also taken aback to discover that Kishoril's family treats Arjun, a close relative and devoted friend, as a servant, dismissing the idea of his joining them for dinner or even eating in the same house. Ganga confronts Arjun when Rajiv abandons her for dinner with his girlfriend, whom he is still seeing. Arjun defends Rajiv's actions, telling Ganga that Rajiv lives like an American and that she should not make a fuss over such a trivial matter. This encounter sets up Ganga's pivotal monologue. Infuriated that Arjun regards Rajiv's casual, unabashed infidelity as a petty affair, she informs him that she demands love, the kind of love that he, Arjun, provides to others. Rejecting love that is less, she also refuses to be turned into a decoration for Kishoril's opulent estate. Arjun realizes he has fallen in love with Ganga, but because of his devotion to Kishorilal, he continues to push her to stick with the engagement and not worry about changing Rajiv afterwards. Arjun is depressed the next day, his birthday, and want to be alone. However, Ganga discovers this and begs Rajiv to accompany her to wish Arjun a happy birthday. Rajiv politely declines, indicating that he likewise regards Arjun as a servant. Ganga goes to the garage without Rajiv and attends a surprise party hosted by Arjun's bandmates. Rajiv's antagonistic mother eventually observes Ganga and Arjun's blossoming closeness and tells Kishorilal. He arranges for Arjun to leave the city right away, informing him that he has been promoted and must begin with a board meeting the next morning in another city. Kishorilal then tells Rajiv, who is on his way to another party in Las Vegas, that Ganga must accompany him. Rajiv gets drunk in Las Vegas and shows his genuine disgust and loathing for India, calling Indians hypocrites and stupid. Ganga smacks Rajiv and responds angrily that Indians despise America's drug-infested, immoral alternative. She also ends her relationship with him by throwing away a ring that was meant to symbolize it. He becomes enraged and attempts to rape Ganga. After a fierce battle, she knocks him unconscious and flees. Kishorilal begins making calls in an attempt to locate the missing Ganga, but Arjun goes in search of her and finds her crying at a train station, her clothes ruined. He attempts to get her to return to Kishorilal's house, but she refuses. Arjun vows to protect her and assist her in returning to India to see her family. Kishorilal calls Ganga's father shortly after they reach at her house in India. Suraj tries to kill Arjun with a family sword that hangs on the wall, believing he eloped with his daughter. Arjun seizes the sword and swears to Ganga's purity and faithfulness. Then he walks away, never to return. Meanwhile, Suraj confines Ganga in a shed and threatens her with murder. Ganga's siblings and grandmother infiltrate the house and persuade her to flee with Arjun. Ganga realizes she is in love with Arjun and, with their assistance, flees the house. Kishorilal and Rajiv have arrived in India by this point. Ganga confronts Arjun at a temple and asks that he profess his love. He still refuses, stating that he does not love Kishorilal. Ganga is horrified, but before he can go, Rajiv arrives with several thugs to murder Arjun. Arjun takes a heavy pounding in the next fight before gaining the upper hand. Later, he beats Rajiv up again. Kishorilal approaches Suraj just as he is ready to murder Rajiv. Kishorilal urges Arjun to honorably murder himself with the gun he has at his disposal and demands that Arjun tell the truth about how he ended up in India with Rajiv's promised wife. This leads to the film's second significant monologue. Arjun accuses Kishorilal of not wanting to know the truth. Those who seek the truth do not demand it with a pistol. He accuses Kishorilal of being a true Westerner after all, because his wealth has eviscerated his compassion and ability to investigate the truth when it does not match what he desires. Confessing that he does, in fact, love Ganga, he affirms that he never pursued her and has acted honorably, whereas Rajiv in every way rejected honorable action and lied about Ganga's sudden return to India. Not only was Ganga, personification of the most valued aspects of Indian culture, unable to merge with Western culture, but Western values, in the person of Rajiv, nearly ruined Ganga, Indian values. Ganga describes the situation at the Vegas hotel and shows everyone Rajiv's attempted rape before telling her father she is willing to die by any method he chooses, poison, fire, or starvation. This important scene both verbalizes and symbolizes how good, happy, pure Ganga, Indian values, has been sacrificed to the failed attempt to integrate India with the West, rather than being able to uplift and enrich Rajiv, Western values. Ironically, it also emphasizes one manner in which Western culture is more equitable and compassionate than Indian culture, because a Western bride can end an unsatisfactory engagement without risking murder at the hands of enraged family members. Kishorilal, stunned but aware that he has heard the truth, confirms that Ganga will marry Arjun rather than Rajiv, and, metaphorically, his own Western concessions. Rajiv overhears Kishorilal's conversation and informs him that he is his son. Kishorilal, on the other hand, slaps his son and, instead of correcting him, forces him to return to America. Rajiv's friend Paul accepts it and returns him to America. Kishorilal accepts Arjun as his true son and celebrates his son's engagement to Ganga. He then declares that Ganga will return to the United States, but this time as Arjun's bride. In the credits, Arjun and Ganga are shown having a happily married life in the United States.